Hi, hello and welcome to the Candlelit Sessions. My name is Catherine O'Driscoll and I will be acting as your compere for this evening. It will very much be acting, I can assure you, but hopefully we can get through this together. This is our very first show out of 4 that we are putting on as part of PBH's Free Fringe. So if you enjoy it, you can get more next week, same time, same place. Or if you miss it, you can find it on our YouTube channel at Candlelit Poets after the YouTube premiere has ended. Before we get started, I'm just going to explain how tonight works. And don't mind me, I'm definitely not looking at my notes. Firstly, before each poet shares their poem, a content warning will appear on the screen. This is to help you keep control over the safety of your own space. If you see a content warning for a poem that you think might be a trigger for you, you can mute it until the end, when another end card will come up, or you can skip about 3 minutes if you are watching after the live. Secondly, the end cards contain information related to the poem. They can be anything from guides to grounding yourself during a panic attack, helplines, charity information, things like that. These were all selected by me or the poets themselves, and we have no official affiliation with any of them, just so you know. Next, I wanted to let you know that if a link does come up on the screen, such as in those end cards or the social media for the poets so that you can follow them and see more of their work, we will paste them in the chat. So you don't need to pause for link information. We'll make it easy for you to get it, and you can also rewind the show after the premiere has ended if you want to. Speaking of the live premiere, hi! Hi! I'm kidding, there's a delay. But I and some of the poets featured tonight will be hanging out in the chat tonight, so if you want to talk to us. When sharing content in a digital space, comments work the same way that room engagement does. It replaces ums and clicks and applause and cheering, all those things that poets live on. So if you are liking a poem, please let the poet know through that medium of text. Lastly, we are part of PBH's Free Fringe. The PBH Free Fringe is an organisation that helps artists put on shows at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. That's a bit of a mouthful. Every year. I have been involved multiple times before and just love them. Basically, they give you a venue and the equipment you need to make your show happen, and in return you join a community of artists and help promote each other. You flyer with the Wee Blue Book, which has all of the free programs in it, and we all just kind of help each other out, and then the audiences get access to a show for free. So hello, welcome, that's what this is. This year, some shows are in Edinburgh and some are virtual, like this one. You can find more shows, including spoken word, comedy, music, puppetry, anything you can imagine, in the Wee Blue Book guide. There is also an app this year, so search for PBH's Free Fringe to get that. As a Free Fringe show, you may have noticed that you can access this show for free. Nice! But we are accepting donations, which will be split between all the performing poets tonight. In case you'd like to show your appreciation in this manner, the information is paypal.me/candlelitpoets or ko-fi.com/candlelit, both of which I'm sure I myself am posting in the chat at this very moment. This is completely optional and no one should feel pressured to donate anything that they can't afford. But if you like the show and that's something you want to do, we more than welcome it. Poets can live on just attention, but we prefer not to. We'll remind you about this at the end. No one likes going up first in spoken word shows, so I guess I will. There's going to be an awkward cut here where we go to me in a different room where I do my poem, so enjoy that. The doctors tell me there is no more funding for the services to keep me alive. They send me home to stop my sodden shoes dripping river water in their waiting rooms. They say I'm lucky I have family to stop me. Lucky I stopped. Unlucky that I stopped in time so I don't quite qualify as an emergency. They say that they hope that I'll survive and that they are sorry. I'm prescribed my small dose of best wishes and that's all between me and memorial, they say. No man is an island. I am a gay, disabled, working class woman, and these days in the UK I feel more shorelines than sure thing. And making it to tomorrow takes a whole lot more than digging in when the ground keeps shuddering. This whole chunk of land uttering its last right prayers, wondering if it will be enough to stop us sinking. 130,000 of us buried at sea, thinking ourselves tucked away safely on coastlines, quickly subsiding as we sleep, forever peaceful under the scratch blankets of austerity. I can no longer afford to romanticise democracy. Mental health services that cease to be, or the decades I have spent lost on this seascape of suicidality that my government now hopes will silence me. I can no longer afford to romanticise it as an ocean at night, thick with black, curling up at the edges and licking with an unwelcome insistence at the horizon, blunt as trauma, a blindfold, and eyes gouged out with plastic spoons whose handles snapped halfway through, a dark as deep as the hollow of myself in which I have swallowed a sky full of hope and felt nothing but the bloated toad nausea of the incoming inability to run from danger. I can no longer pretend I see the moon dropping silver kisses upon crest tips, diamond dusting the blade of each wave. I can no longer dream of the silence of the sea. Not now. Not now I can hear its endless growling in the back of my head like tinnitus. Not when I can feel the full force of physics plotting against me. Not when I know that every molecule wants to crash over me, crack through me, crate and bury me. Not when I've been lured to rest my head on riverbeds so often that one of my ears is still full of that poisonous sludge. I remember everything that drowning taught me. So I will no longer pretend I am lost in a beautiful seascape waiting for sirens to tell me my fate as the stars show me how to get home. The stars are candles, extinguished by sea spray. The moon is a gunshot wound in the gut of midnight. The sea and I are no longer lovers. You are trying to kill me. I will not turn your violence into poetry. I will no longer believe in sunrises I have never seen, like hope or recovery. Just the ice bite touch of this murderous blue water, my half a boat floating, and me trying not to freeze to death, and ignoring my MP referring to me as just another person who refuses to learn how to swim on their own. Well, that certainly was a poem. Up next, we have Jake Wild Hall with their poem 12-Week Course.
Hey, I'm Jake Wild Hall, and I'm going to be reading a poem for you. The poem is called It's a 12-Week Course. Thank you to Catherine for having me, and I hope you're all having a lovely digital fringe. It's a 12-week course. When your body is a car crash because you must not. When your brain is a protest and your skull a kettle. When your thoughts become voices. The voices become continuous, only saying jump or swallow when you roll the burning bush into the sheets of your abridged Bible every morning so the Holy Ghost can pass through you. When you are drunk on the sympathetic hum of the fridge. When the clock face is set to laconic. When waking is all you remember, when everyone is out to get you, partner, mum, friends, they are all in on it and for no reason, when all of this becomes you. Find yourself 12 deep to a room full of skin itch and coffee sip. Take a deep breath, kid. You're nearly there.
A moving poem about recovery from Jake. I always love how nourished I feel after listening to their poems. They always seem so tangible and real, and the fight in them is always the takeaway for me. To keep us going, we are going to go to Sinead Gavin with her poem Snap.
It's not like Snap. It's not like that. It's not so packed or wrapped compact. It's not so quick, so self-contained. There's no switch you slickly, quickly flick. It's not like that. Snap doesn't change or rearrange. It's Jekyll or Hyde, high tides that subside, two sides to collide with a wide-eyed cry. It's black or it's white, head fucked, all right. There's no steady climb or shift over time. The lines are too neat, up, down and repeat. It's not like that. It's not like Snap. It's more like a rise, like self-amplification, like mutated elation is now your damnation. It's more like distorted, emotions contorted, devotions in motion, your reason exported, your thoughts are on crack and it's hard to keep track because they're growing and growing, no chance to pull back because it's all so essential, it's all consequential. Who knew that my lunch stories could turn existential? It's more like a push, like your feelings will rush and you just can't choke back the emotional gush, cause like now means love and sad means dejection and happy means rapture, captured elation. Anger means rage, a pure irritation, a rising frustration of your own creation. Just can't understand why'd you walk so slow, why'd you talk so low? Can't you know much you owe from off the fucking Nando's bill? What do you mean I talk too fast? What do you mean words overlap? What do you mean you just don't get it? It's not that hard, for God, forget it! It's more like intense, like your thoughts don't make sense, just racing and rushing with no self-defense because you know the world hates you and no one would date you and God's running late and she's gone gain weight too. It's more like you're horny, but God, now you bore me, and didn't you know that the whole world adores me? It's more like a panic, like shit, am I manic now? I don't believe it, just breathe in and leave it. It's more like a surge, like reactions will merge, like two potent emotions submerge and converge. It's more like a drumming, your thoughts can't stop humming, erratic, fanatic, so fast that they're static. It's more like a pounding, it's more like astounding, it's more like confounding, resounding, abounding, a pure self-assurance and your own endurance with all of this power, but none of the hours you need to seduce and deduce and produce. It's more like you're frightened, your fears and heightened emotions are leading, they're breathing, they're teething, no time out for bleeders, no one gets a breather, can't reject it, object it, emergency exit. It's not like that. It's not like Snap.
That poem always steals my breath. I first heard that poem at Unislam in 2017, a long time ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. It's one of the first poems that I put in the long list for candlelit sessions because I don't believe there's a recording of it anywhere. Trust me, I've looked, and I really wanted more people to hear this poem because it just gets me every time. Now we are going to go across to Michael Wilson, who's going to share his poem, The ECT Poem.
The ECT poem. Ward round Monday 10:30 a.m. A ladder to somewhere else drawn in my arm. The days give each thought a bitter aftertaste. The terrible spun gold in my veins has finally been bled away, as you were, my boy. But the darkness always looks stranger with a keener sight, surrounded by gluey eyes trying to scratch meaning from words and words written over and over on the same scrap of paper till the ink sweats from the page. The doctor speaks from behind a shuffle of notes. You see, we can't get there from here. But it's time to see what we can call upon. I push my head into a nod and he tells me the treatment will begin very soon. Once he recovered his sense, in the shape of his tongue, Tim tells us all a ghost story. How if you change your thinking, if you try to get off the gurney, they strap you down so they can safely feed icy waters into your veins, to freeze the life inside you. He tells me what the letters mean. You're a trick, my friend, but don't worry. It's just like sleeping, except you wake so much more tired. The days stalk the walls like shadows, my time spent in circles, orbiting the same thought, the centre of which is a dark-hearted sun. I spend the night time sweating out my dreams and the daytime sweating out my fears until he tells me, it's time to go. Hold your head. You're the lucky one. On the gurney, the ceiling glides over my eyes. Distance and affection etch-a-sketch across the nurse's expression. Ward, corridor, lift, corridor, prep room. They inject the coldness into my hand and I count back through every mistake I've ever made. They drop the curtains, so I never see the metal hands that push sparks in my mind. When I come back in the middle of a sentence, the world in front of me the size of a postage stamp. He plonks breakfast on a table for me as my mind struggles into the clothing of thought. Come on, he says. Back to the halfway house. Only 5 more treatments to go. Every time I see you seem more alive became familiar words from visitors carrying brightly coloured bundles. Visits are no longer conducted in cotton-mouth sentences that muffled everything down to a murmur. They told me at the last ward round, I get out of intensive care soon. A life to come as full as a harvest moon, and eyes that have seen the things we hide from ourselves only to know the reasons why. Shot back into life, and slotted back into the world. Complete.
Gosh, that is just a wrenchingly honest poem about a difficult subject. Thank you for sharing, Michael. We're going back to another Unislam fan member now with Kawsara Oyaloa's Ghazal for Grieving a Tribe.
Ghazal for mourning a tribe. When someone dies, all the love you want to give but can't is grief. Sitting in the fruit bowl, curdling the star apples into rotten grief. In my dreams, grandma plucked celosia, then hibiscus, then cacti, strung them on grass strings, playing a rosary rendered grief. And our aoriki sweet as palm oil, threw themselves in searing Dutch pots, coughed up singing cadavers and smouldering grief. She was the mother island, conveyor belt hands dishing out vessels of traffic-coloured stews, bleeding onto a land vanishing fast. I crashed grief into this bowl of joy and I fled the scene, stole grandma's shell lips from a sea poem, her, my mother's hands, from a body rattled by grief. Grandma was lovely. Grandma was lovely. Grandma was lovely. Was lovely. I finally put my tongue to sleep in this new bedridden grief. I have not been to my island yet. Cannot bring myself to. Dangerous, happy thoughts lurking around the corners, excited to give me grief. Out of all the English word Grandma knows, I miss you remains, floating inside scratched talk home cards. I fish out her voice, bake her into a memorial grief. It will take a lifetime to eulogize my tender tribe, but Kawsara, Grandma would not have wanted you to puncture your lungs in order to air out your grief.
There are too many gut-wrenching moments in that poem to pick one out. First time I heard that poem, it was also at Unislam, but a different year, it was about a year or two ago. And you could feel the pain rippling through the room as it's such an accurate portrayal of grief. I know I wasn't the only one crying in the stalls that year. Okay, let's carry on with the amazing Aisha Humphreys sharing I Shrunk Myself in the Wash.
I was just a kid. You took my hand and flirted with the spaces between me and the dinner table. Traced my palm with your poison, disguised it as a love for my potential to be the shape of a coffin. Salted by the tears of a family you swore could not love me. 'Cause you loved me first. You know, I always expected my first love to be a sunshine boy or a girl with rainbows in her hair, but you were everything to me. The air I breathed into the back of my lungs, and you choked me, smoked me out, handed me my first cigarette, told me it was the only fuel I needed between my mouth, taught me to swallow smoke like it was fruit to this stomach, show me the sight of my ribcage growing prominent day after day was a trophy I could hold up to the sky and say, I did it. I did it, Mum. I shrunk myself in the wash as I washed myself of the delinquency. I'm here to tell you that this is over now. This on and off relationship we've had all these years, it doesn't mean a thing to me. I've had people break my heart, but never like this. Never like the way you sliver into every room, into every action I take, every decision I make, trying to reclaim a broken body from the graves you've dug out for me in every space. And I am done kneeling down to you like you were some god I could worship. You would promise me the world if only I could keep finding new ways of disappearing. I'm done with your magic tricks. 'Cause you ain't magic. You were the poison I drank every morning, convinced that love stares abuse in the mirror and us to be married together. I'm burning you down at the altar and asking my own hand in marriage if I spend the rest of my life growing a garden of love for myself, can I finally let you go? You didn't let me eat breakfast for 8 years. Turned toast into tarmac, jam into a jackhammer. I'm learning how to break you down into pieces I can eat in the morning. I'm learning how to bite into bread without fear. Bite into life without you on my shoulder telling me right from wrong. This is my breakup song. I have to practice the lyrics each day so I do not forget how much fuller I have become since I started leaving you in the past, 'cause we have no future, you and I. A future with you means the death of me, and I am not ready for the till death do us part. I am parting with you like my life depends on it, because it does.
A completely necessary breakup poem from Aisha there. Feels subtly empowering. It's like rooted in the realities of difficulties of recovery, but proudly looking forward, as are we, to Rebecca Cooney's Selkie.
This poem is called Selkie. The selkie is a creature from Scottish folklore. They look a lot like seals, but when there's a full moon, they come up onto the beach and they shed their skin and they dance as humans on the sand. And in at least one version of the story, a man sees them dancing and he falls in love with one of them. So he takes her skin and he hides it so she can't get back into the water. He takes her in, they get married, they have children. One day one of the children finds the skin in the house and takes it to his mother and asks her what it is. She takes the skin, puts it on, runs into the water and is never seen again. And as a child I thought, oh, how sad, she left. And as an adult I thought, he stole her skin. And then I thought, yeah, I know some relationships like that. So this poem was born. This is Selkie. I keep the slivers of her self-esteem in a jar on the bathroom shelf. I keep finding them around the house, between the cushions of the sofa, clogging up the kitchen sink, scattered on her bedroom floor with her knickers. She looks at me like she thinks I am collecting her toenails, intrusive and a little disgusting, but I cannot shake the feeling she will want them one day. There are more of them, silver and translucent, every time he comes around. One day I come in to find the living room iridescent. The only dark spot is where she sits, dull and raw. He is flaying her alive. "What's this?" he says, and jiggles the folds of her belly made only by her position on the couch. He's smiling, but his fingers are teasing away another shimmering shred. There is nothing of her, and still he wants her to be less. I glare at him until he guilty notices and tries to put it back. There is an ocean in her eyes, but the tide is going out. She believes any port in a storm, better to take this chance to dance than be cast adrift, and I believe no dance is worth a damn if it will cost you your skin. When she moves in with him, I fold the slivers from the overflowing jar as best I can and place them in her suitcase in the hope that one day, when her exposed soul is cold, she will mistake them for a cardigan and put them back on. As her skin flakes, she flakes away from me. We drift apart as she chooses this landlocked type of love. She wonders why I hate him, and I wonder why she gave me the stories of the things he had done if she wanted me to like him. When she is gone, I take them out and examine them and see they too are shot through with silver. And too late, I realise she gave them to me for safekeeping, and I should have given them back, made her look at them until she saw how naked she was and reached for the bathroom shelf. Instead, I knit them into chain mail, wear her stories as my armour, take my own jar from under the bed and place it by the mirror, and try to remember to tell friends and lovers who are passing through, your arms are not worth an ocean, and if you cannot help me to put these back on, you do not deserve to stay. Some nights I dream of him, soaked to the skin in a flooding first-floor flat, rising seawater backing up the bathtub and escaping salt-clogging sinks, and her, swimming in the deep and shimmering.
Whew, just beautiful. Thank you, Rebecca. Such a gorgeous, tender poem. It's haunted me for many years. I'm so pleased we got to hear it tonight. Okay, time for a change of tone. Up next, let's see if I can get the title right. This is Gemma Hathaway's Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Anxiety, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Everything you didn't want to know about anxiety, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I sit in my doctor's consulting room. She tells me one more time, there's nothing to worry about. It's probably just your anxiety. And I want to laugh in her face. Telling someone with anxiety they have nothing to worry about is like telling the sun there is nothing to shine for. I want to tell her that living with anxiety is like living in a shared house with a lot of people you don't like. Anxiety is complete confusion and disorder. I want to tell her that I diagnosed myself in a dictionary and it turns out I have a chronic case of chaos. I want to tell her anxiety is sellotape. It clings and sticks and sometimes it's impossible to find the end of it. It is being at war with yourself and always ending up on the losing side. It gives your heart a skipping rope and says use this often and at all the worst times. I have had panic attacks that make me wish I was powder so I can throw myself in the sea and disappear. And still those voices tick, tick, tick away. Not good enough, too much, you're everything wrong and I can't tell you why. You just are. Look at you. You're an off the Richter scale natural disaster of a person. Why are you so fucking anxious? And how self-involved are you to be having thoughts about yourself all day long and now you're anxious about the fact that you're anxious? And my work is done. I have finally written a book of publishable standard. There is only one copy and it sits on a shelf in my head. It's called The Little Book of Bad Words I Tell Myself. It is the only book I have ever wanted to burn. Anxiety makes meditation as fantastical as Father Christmas and the Tooth Fairy caught fucking on the threshold of Narnia. If I could truly clear my mind, I might believe that God exists and has stopped laughing. Anxiety is my girlfriend taking me on the roof to do yoga in the middle of winter, in the middle of the night, and telling me all over again it will be okay, and not laughing because I can't actually do yoga. Living with anxiety is being the caterpillar who will never go through the change because it tells itself it can never get better. Anxiety is stumbling about in the dark with a light switch that keeps moving just out of your reach. It means I talk a lot and I don't say very much. I go on. I could make this poem so much shorter if I just told you that anxiety is shit. It is the water on your windscreen. No matter how much you wipe it away, it still distorts everything you see and makes you wonder why you bother to keep driving at all anyway. Anxiety is an acid attack you spit at yourself. Expressed as a problem, it is emotion plus paranoia times thoughts, times thoughts, times thoughts, times thoughts, minus that sense of humour you used to have, those social events you cancelled and those friends you couldn't keep. Anxiety is me sitting here telling you about it, wondering if I've told you too much and getting anxious about that. Anxiety is sometimes everywhere. Sometimes it makes me wonder where I went, like if I dig deep enough down the side of the sofa, maybe I'll find my old self in there, nuzzled up to a 5p piece in a bit of fluff. And I could be like, oh my God, there you are. I've been looking for you everywhere. You with your regular heartbeat and your just because laughter. I want to be just like you. You are so together. You've got it all figured out. You're so... You can hold a conversation without sugar paper words dissolving on your tongue. You with your way of always knowing the right thing to say. You are a marvel to me. You're miraculous. And anxiety is the fear of knowing I might never see you again.
That poem is both enjoyable and challenging to listen to if you recognise your own anxiety in it like I do. But personally, that's why I love it. Feels like Gemma managed to capture the specificity of their feelings and expose the universal nature of them at the same time. Up next is Raina Greifer's Narcissistic Bitch, which apparently I can say just fine, but I have continuously misspelled throughout production. Take it away, Raina.
You know you're narcissistic when you keep trying to slyly show your therapist your poetry. She asks, "How are you feeling?" And I say, "I don't know," and we both sit in silence, which is horribly unbearable and embarrassing because it means I don't know my emotions from my body. And so I say, "Well, I've been working on this poem and I don't know." And she says, "Well, what is it about?" Which sounds like interest. And I love being interesting. And so I say, well, it's about a lot of things. It's nuanced and complex, which are big poetry words. So she knows I'm like the real deal. And then there's that silence again, which makes me think I am already boring her. And so I say, I don't know, I could like, haha, read it for you if you want. And she says, well, that's not really the point. And so I say, I think my poetry expresses how I feel pretty well. And then she says, metaphors aren't always the best way to express how you feel, which means I'm annoying her, but I can't stop at this point. It would be selling myself short. And maybe she's just nervous that I write about her. And so I say, how would you even know? Do you even write poetry? Isn't art therapy a thing? Wouldn't poetry be considered like a revealing form of art? And now we are being too confrontational and just staring at each other. And so she says, would you like to read it? And I say, only if you want to hear it. And I know she is thinking to herself, why the fuck would I want to hear it? But she smiles because I'm the one paying her. And she says, sure. But at this point, neither of us are sure. And I spend 5 minutes pretending to get the poem up on my Google Docs app, but really it's already loaded on my phone. I don't want her to know about my unattractive eagerness, the way I hope someone will say my name from across the room like a need, or how I love the little hands of someone's thigh hugging against my jeans in an auditorium bleacher. It's narcissistic to be talking about yourself. And all I do with my therapist is talk about myself. Finally, I announce the poem is ready and we lock eyes. I read the poem as a dried lemon rolling on the ground, by which I mean my only use is as decor rather than sustenance. Sometimes when she asks me how I feel in our Zoom sessions, I quickly pull up another tab on my computer and search for a list of emotions. When I read the first few, she sighs, like a refrigerator unsure of what to feed me.
Ooh, that is uncomfortably familiar. If you have ever been in a therapeutic environment, I would not be surprised if you saw yourself in that. I know I did. I know I've even made my therapist watch YouTube videos of me performing. Anyway, that was our penultimate poet already. That means that this upcoming poem is our final one for tonight, but stick around for Tom Dewey sharing his poem, Clovers.
I am told that this life is more than an open-top bus from heartbreak to wisdom, that we are one left turn from luck, cradled in the corner like a masterpiece. God damn, how you are a masterpiece. How insecurity is your frame, how good you look without a frame, and how strong you stand, like silence. I am sorry to say that my weakness leads me to noise. There's not a street in this town my face hasn't kissed, dragging my baggage like an unlit cigarette, wasting away like chances to change. I've been picking clovers in all the wrong places, tattooing my energy into anything that didn't explode into fog the moment I blinked, recklessly setting rows of houses alight, hoping to hear a smoke alarm I recognized. I realize now that home is not so easily conjured. So I cast my courage towards surviving today, sidestepping all the dire mistakes that I've been dying to make. I have learned to fight fire with fire escapes, and I know I should have seen disaster approaching. Forgive me my distraction, my love, my eyes were locked on the sound the stars make when you throw them at me. But we both know by now that life demands its toll be taken. 18-hour days began to bruise my blind spots, piling up on the welcome mat at the unlocked door of my curiosity. On a night that I still carry in my pocket like a promise, I collapsed. Like a brave face, housed in a hospital, a ghoul in a gown, a coat hanger in a wardrobe. As you can tell, I am no masterpiece. I am smudged with doubt, seared with hurt. Perfection is a blur on my skyline. But I'm still looking to the skyline, in a t-shirt that reads, Hope. He still lives here. He's making paper aeroplanes from eviction notices, dancing on the grave of my I don't knows, bouncing on the beat that my heart won't skip, praying to the God that I lose sometimes when the bottom of the bottle is a full moon curse and the poetry I love in is a tire gone, flat. He's running rings around the spirals I slip down, teaching me how to stay level. Don't you see, my dear, you have my word. Trust in this because I have his hope will not abandon me. He just leaves sometimes, like the title of a song on the tip of my tongue. He will always come back to me, and I will always come back to you. I refuse to be another figure on a spreadsheet. I refuse to live as just a figment of your memory. I will lift myself up by my own shirt collar, my spine will be straight talking. I will stand as strong as Hadrian's wall, as pure as Angel Gabriel. My pride will break the fall it comes before. No longer will I be Atlas with the world on my shoulders. Under that burden I faltered, I will be Theseus. With a dream, a wish, and a ball of yarn. This is not a call to arms. This is a call to love. This is for anybody running the race to redemption, only to find themselves wham bam smack bang back where they started. Darling, I swear, hope. He still lives here, stood on his own shoulders, arms apart, like lovers, spirit true, heart brave, with a paintbrush in one hand and a pledge in the other, screaming under somebody else's breath. Boy, I'm gonna make you a masterpiece.
An extremely courageous confessional poem there from Tom. It's been one of my favourites for a long time, and the line, wasting away like chances to change, has felt like too many days in my life. But Tom leaves us with the sense of hope. Hope still lives here. And it does. And with that, that comes to the end of our show. Sad, at least until next week. Thank you for sharing the space with us, and we hope that you enjoyed it. You can follow us on social media. We are at Candlelit Poets everywhere, all one word. You can also follow PBH's Free Fringe on Twitter and Instagram at The Free Fringe, all one word. And on Facebook, they are at free.fringe, so you can follow them. And they also have a donation option on their website, which is freefringe.org.uk/donate. And if you want to donate to the poets you've seen here tonight, that information again is paypal.me/candlelit-poets or ko-fi.com/candlelit. I feel like it should be said like coffee, but I said it like way earlier and then I thought that's not really explaining how it's spelled. I'm having a bad time. Okay, I just want to say a huge thank you for what has not been a bad time. It's been an incredible evening from the poets who were involved here tonight. And all of the poets who are involved in the future episodes, which you should definitely stick around for. This is such a beautiful community and I love being part of it. Speaking of community, you can check out www.spokenwordcommunity.com for a forum for UK spoken word artists. That's not related to this show at all, but the camera person is the only person here who could stop me from saying whatever the hell I like. Okay, back on topic. If you have a poem that would have fit into tonight's showcase, then I have good news for you. I am curating a showcase just like this, but a little bit smaller, for the Full House Literary Festival in September. The great news is that I will be inviting some amazing poets to share their work, but we also have an open call, so you can send us your work if you want to be involved too. Follow them at Full House Lit Mag on Twitter for when that all opens up. Final thanks to Kashke Pasco and Loretta O'Driscoll for helping me film, my dog for panting nervously in the background of many shots, and that is all we have time for today. We will see you next week. Until then, stay safe and remember that you are not alone. Bye.
His little nose. There we go, that's his face. Oh, good boy.
Thank you, sir, for blessing us.
He blesses the
He blesses
show.